So, in the past, I have addressed some cosmic conundrums: Big Bang, blank epoch, cosmic inflation, dark matter, dark energy, none of which, by the way, are explained by current cosmology. How would non duality explain the Big Bang, blank epoch, cosmic inflation, dark matter, and dark energy? So, let me start by saying that non duality does not dispute the empirical models of Big Bang cosmology. It reframes them as descriptions of how one awareness appears to itself when filtered through mind, measurement, and mathematical imagination. So, from a non dual lens, Advait, Kashmir Shaivism, there was never a time before consciousness. The Planck epoch and Big Bang are the first articulations of manifestation within timeless awareness, not events that produce awareness. The pre-Big Bang singularity or quantum vacuum can be read as a metaphor for unmanifest Brahman, undivided potential, in which all possible universes exist as superposed modes of knowing. So, in this view, when cosmology speaks of a space time singularity, Vedanta speaks of avyakta or unmanifest, where the entire cosmos is enfolded like a seed in undivided consciousness. The beginning of time is thus the beginning of a particular metric of experience, not the beginning of the field that knows time. So, what about cosmic inflation? Inflation describes an extremely rapid early expansion of space-time that smooths and structures the observable universe. Non-duality can treat this as the instantaneous differentiation of the one into many, like a single dream mind exploding into galaxies of images without ever ceasing to be one dreamer. Technically, inflationary fields, symmetry breaking, and the separation of forces can be seen as graded densities of experience, consciousness thickening into energy, matter, and even biological minds that later model this very history. What physics calls phase transitions in the early universe, Vedanta recasts as modes of Maya, lawful regularities in how awareness patterns its own content. What about dark matter? Well, dark matter, according to current cosmology, is an unobserved mass component inferred from gravitational effects, galaxy rotation curves, and a large scale structure. Non duality does not need to say what dark matter really is. It instead points out that visible matter and invisible matter are conceptual partitions inside experience, not ontological others to awareness. From a consciousness first frame, dark matter is a name for a certain consistent pattern in the dream, a placeholder for unexplained regularities in the way perception organizes itself. Whether future physics describes it as particles, modified gravity, or something more exotic, it remains a way consciousness models some of its own unnoticed structure. Dark energy? Well, what is dark energy? It's the label for the observed accelerated expansion of the universe, commonly modeled as a cosmological constant or dynamic field. Some speculative frameworks already tie dark energy to an underlying informational or awareness like substrate, treating it as a kind of homogeneous background that shapes all manifest forms. Non duality, the repulsive expansion effect, can be read as the intrinsic spaciousness of consciousness, which it is. It's borderless. Its tendency to not let appearance close back into a fixed final configuration. Where physics sees an equation of state making everything rush apart, the sage can say, this is ceaseless creativity of awareness, ever unfolding its own possibilities. So, put it all together. If consciousness is fundamental and the universe is a modification of mind, then Big Bang, Planck epoch, inflation, dark matter, and dark energy are all different languages, and even the languages appear on the screen of consciousness for how the one appears as cosmos. The scientific story tracks patterns in the movie. Non-duality inquires into the screen, showing that every epoch, field, and force is ultimately a mode of knowing in pure consciousness, not something outside or prior to it. All these cosmological conundrums are solved, and there is no hard problem of consciousness. We begin with consciousness, and everything becomes obvious. This is what I have tried to explain in my book with Menas Kafatos, who's a quantum physicist and a cosmologist, and it's called You Are the Universe. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma.